Hey guys, it's Joshua, and today we're going to be doing the Lego intro that I made a couple days ago. So this is what we're creating. Alright, you can see there's a few things. There's the Lego design, obviously. There's the clouds, strings, animation here. And yeah, you can do it with your custom logo. Just build a logo and then have something in the back, and yeah. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is you want to actually download the thing in the description. It's going to come with this pack here. So it's going to come with a template that I've created. And these are just the models. So there's the wall, the clouds. This is the HDR, which is from HDR Haven, which I do recommend checking them out. They have a few things here. This is their website. So if you come up to HDRIs, you can find one. If you don't like the one that's with the video, you can just find a different one. Say if you want a more indoor theme, and then just download any one you want. But yeah, there's that. So then if we jump back, Cinema 4d, this is going to be the template it comes with. So it's going to be the backdrop. It's going to have the clouds already there. There's going to be no animation, obviously. And the camera's locked. The sky is already set. The render settings are basic, I guess, so it's 1280 by 720 just for previewing, and then when you do your final render you can change it to 1920 by 1080. It's the actual physical renderer, and there's a little bit of global illumination. I turned it down to low because it does impact your render time if you change it from low to high or medium, so I just kept it at low for the tutorial, but you can change it if you like. To actually make your logo, what we're going to do is go over to Google, bring this up, and there's a website called Mecca Bricks. I'll put it in the description. And what it is, it's a website where you can create things out of Lego online, and you can download them. So if you actually go to library, you can see that there's a few models here, like there's someone built a house, a Hummer, and whatnot. And some of them you can actually click on. And this is a little display, it'll load. And then if you go to editor, it brings you to this little place where you can actually change things if you want or add things. Completely up to you. So the way it works in here is if you hold your mouse, you can kind of move it around with your left side of your mouse. Right side moves it left and right and up and down. And then the scrolly ball kind of zooms in. What you can do if you want, so you can click on a brick, move it over, anything like that. You do have to give credit to the people making them, so I do recommend making your own logos or your own designs. And the way to do that is if you actually come up, go to Mecca Bricks, go leave. It's going to bring us back to this page. You want to go to workshop. You will have to create an account as well to both download and to make things, but it doesn't take too long. So in here you can click some bricks, so say if you want a 2x1, put it over there. If you want to change it from bricks to anything in here, so there's minifigs. So say if you want a head, you can have like say CP3O. This tab here where it's actually minifigs is more like the odd ones. If you go to scroll down a little bit more, you can go to like heads, and this is where you'll actually find faces or characters, and they actually have some labels here, so like the collectible DC superheroes, stuff like that. What you want to do at the end is if you go to open, well, I guess you won't, go to open, okay, and these are just the things I had to create for the logo itself. So this is the Corridor Digital logo I created for the intro. But the way I did it was, if I unhide this, is I put a grid down. So what I would recommend is if go down to plates, base plates, and you're going to click base plate 32 by 32. So the 3811, and that's what this one is. And I found this is the perfect size to create a logo. Mine's a little bit over, you can see, but that's fine, and it kind of adds like a cool design to it, I thought. But you want to put this grid down and create your logo on this grid. You do want it to be facing up, and yeah, that's pretty much what you have to do. So just a quick thing that might help is if you go over to Alt, there's the start and shortcuts. These two places show you like kind of, so if you click on a brick and you press D, it'll duplicate it, stuff like that, so you know how to like speed up your workflow pretty much. And from here we're gonna go up to File, and then you want to export it. So export your logo, you just click export. You can keep it on this file. I found this one is a smaller file, but it doesn't keep the colors, but for a logo you're gonna add the colors anyways, so I kept it on this. But if you're doing like faces or minifigs, I would change it to wavefront, like the OBJ. And down here it's the LEGO logo, so if you click on this, it'll export with the actual like little LEGO logo on each of the studs. But for this I didn't do it because these don't actually have it, because they have the flat plates on it. You'd have it on here, but it increases your render time because it's such a fine detail and adds more polygons. But yeah, so once you export your logo, you want to create another one. So what I did was I created backside, and the back I'm using today is just the wizard. And yeah, for this I just did a little bit of a smaller plate. This one's an 8x16, that's the one. And I put two of them together, and two of them together will equal the 32 on the 32. So, and then do the same thing, File, Export, OBJ. And then inside of Cinema 4D, we're actually gonna, first thing I like to do is I actually go to File and then Save As, and then I'm gonna do this LEGO intro. The reason I'm saving this is so that you have the two files now. This one will be your working file, and this will be the template, so if you ever want to make another one, you just could start from scratch kind of thing. The first thing we're going to do is merge, and we're going to find the model we downloaded. So for me, it's the corridor logo .dae. We're going to import that. And the first thing you want to do is it comes in separate bricks. So I'm going to click the first one, scroll all the way down, hold shift, and then click the last one. And then I'm going to group this, call this core and door logo with 3 R's, I guess. And then from here, you're just going to kind of move it where we want. Rotate in the direction. And if you have this problem where the axis is kind of in a weird way because it's following the logo, if you want to change that, just come up here. This will be the world, called the world axis, something like that. So then you can actually move it along the thing. And you want to look here too. You don't want it to be too high because then it'll look different when you render it, but you don't want it to be too low. So just kind of find that happy medium spot where it's some clouds are in front of it, some are behind, and whatnot. So there's the logo, and the next thing we want to do is merge the second one. So this one's an OBJ, and so click the first one, last one, hold shift, and then group. We're gonna name this back side. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this kind of where we want it. And if you use hold shift while moving it, it'll snap like in 10% or 10% increments. So it just makes it easier. So go -90 will make sure it's standing straight up. Okay. And obviously this is going to be on the back side, but I'm just kind of positioning it where I want it to be. Then you want to grab the back side and your logo. Right click, group. We're going to do this logo animation. And what happens now is if we click on that, we rotate both of them instead of the separate one. So what I'm actually going to do is, now that we have this, you go to the corridor logo, find the base plate. And the easiest way to do that is if you click the first one again, hold shift, click on the base plate but hold control. So now I'll deselect it, right click, connect and delete. So now I'll have, this will be the base plate. You can see if you rotate it, it's just the base plate, and then this one's the logo. I'm gonna name this base plate and the logo. So Control C, Control V. Put this one in the back side. Change it to the world, and we're gonna, you can see if sometimes your axis will be somewhere else, so if you rotate it, it'll be rotating from this pivot point. The easiest way to fix that is if you come over here to the enable axis, click it, go to move, and then just kind of move it to where it would be. If you right click, now it's going to pivot from this point, so it's more in the middle kind of thing. Anyways. Thing too is if you have two logos, you can line it up. I'm gonna just try to straighten this one out, because that's the way it looks. Kind of, I did it in the other one and I found it looks the best. And we're gonna push it back. I'm gonna push it halfway back, and then we're gonna highlight all the Lego guys, not the base plate that we just copied. Just kind of move it like that. So now if we rotate the logo, you can see that it's, whoops. Now when we rotate the logo, we can see that it's on the back. Right? And we can fix the position afterwards. That's not the biggest concern right now. But what I'm going to do is actually hide the back plate. So now we just see the logo. Like that. From the logo, or from the logo animation, is when we're going to drop keyframes. So I change it. If you click Control D, it's 24 frames per second and it's 100 frames. That's the standard cinema frame rate. That's why I did it. So you can see it's 150, but if you want to change, you could just change this to say like 100. Click it and then move that to 100. Alright. So I'm gonna move the axis point again to the middle of the logo, because this is where I'll be rotating the logo. Whoops. Make sure you're off it before you actually want to rotate it. Now it's gonna rotate right in the middle. Then I'm gonna go to frame like 36. Do 40. Click this one, the auto key. Click a keyframe. And I went about 15 frames, so I'm gonna go to like 55. And then I'm gonna rotate this all the way around just a little bit more. So now it'll be still, rotate past it. And if you go to the end of the keyframe, or end of the timeline, and just move it a little bit back into the negative area. So now you have this animation where it slowly comes back. It rotates and then it'll come back. It's a bit too slow, so I'm gonna go halfway and rotate it back. Alright, and now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna animate the visibility, so it switches from this logo to the other. So you get to choose when you want it. So I'm gonna unhide this one. Right click, go to Cinema 4D tags, come down to display, and we're going to animate the visibility. I'm actually going to turn off the auto keying now because it's a bit confusing and can screw up your project if you're not careful. We're going to use it, check it. I'm going to change this to 0, put a keyframe, and then go 1 frame forward by pressing G, I believe. Yeah, G. And then we're going to change this to 100. Oops. The visibility is on. Add another keyframe so it's on or it's off. So if we go F, it's not there, and then it comes in. We're going to copy this by, if you click Control and then move it down, or hold Control, it'll copy it. And then we're going to just move the keyframe. So move that one, move that. Now you can see it snaps to the two. What you can also see is it's kind of going through the ground here. To fix that, you're just going to have to move the position of it a little bit. So I'm going to here. Since we did the auto keying, you're actually going to have to go with that, move it up a little bit, comes down here, you gotta move it up just again. Now it's going to be kind of animating. If it's moving so fast, you won't actually see it, but you preferably don't want that to happen. But we'll just leave it for now. Alright, so this is, you can see at 180, this is like right when it's facing us. So this is when you can kind of fix it up for you. So it's like I'm going to grab all the bricks, kind of rotate it. I'm going to scale it up a bit too. You can click both of the visibilities and you can see them, and then if you highlight them, you can kind of move them down so the quarter logo is there for a longer period of time, or you can change it so it appears quicker. Say you want it to appear there. Yeah, that's good. So you go to the beginning. Yeah. That's good. From here, another thing we can add is if you go to File, Merge, is I'll have this bottom sign, and if you open that, okay, you can click the first one again, hold Shift, click the last one, and we're gonna connect and delete. And this is gonna be the sign. And then I'm gonna group sign as well. We're going to rotate it, hold Shift so it snaps. Oops. So rotate and then hold Shift, and then -90 is the one. Then bring it to. So you can, if you want, you can make another one. This one I found it was a bit too big, but it does work. But you can just kind of scale it and whatnot. That you can come up to MoGraph, go to Mode Text. From here, you can see the text is really big. You can scale it down. Also gonna actually go to text, page from left to middle. This is so your pivot point is in the middle. And we're gonna rotate tool, hold Shift, and snap it to -90. Go to pivot tool, and then move it up. What you want to do is you want to find your thing. So if you click your sign, this is where your sign is. So then you want to go to Mode Text. Gonna move it. So then when you have your mode text, you can type in anything. So I'll just type in tutorial. And then if you want, you can add a cap to round it out, but it's so tiny you don't actually notice it. And then you grab your MoGraph and then drop it into your sign layer. So now if you rotate your sign layer, the text will move with it. Right? And now we're going to actually add the string. So what you want to do is change this from front, go to view or display. There are no cameras. One of them. Go to top. And this is just like a front view of kind of what it looks like. Then we're going to come up to the spline, go to linear. And we're going to choose one cloud. So I'm going to do this cloud. So click it. And then come up here and click another point. I'm going to make it so straight. Then you want to come over here to the model. so you're not on the vertice. And then we want to actually find the cloud, so top left cloud. So that's the cloud we're looking for. Then if we come to spline, we can move it up and connect it to the cloud. So there's the top left cloud. That's the bottom top left. So I'm going to actually connect it to this one. This one's the back cloud, so bring it down. And you don't want it to be too high, because when we add a thickness to the wire, you don't want it to be showing through the front. So bring it to the end, and then, or near the back side of the logo. Right. From the spline, what we're going to do is come up to Cinemates, hair tags, spline dynamics. We're not actually going to touch that one. Go to hair dynamics and then constraint, and then copy that by holding control and then moving it over. So then you have two of them. All right. And then the next thing we want to do is actually come up to the cube, create a cube, and we're just going to scale this down quite a bit. This is where we're going to like kind of hang the wire from. So it has to be on top of the thing here. So we're going to build that down a bit bigger so it covers the whole area. Should be good. Right. We're going to right click Cinemates 4D tag and then compositing. We don't want this to show up in the render, so we're just going to go cast shadows, receive shadows, and then scene by GI and scene by cameras, scene by rays, just to be safe, I guess. And we're going to go back to the spline. We're going to go to the vertices, and as soon as you press the vertice, it's always going to choose the top one here. So then you can come up to the first constraint, click on it, grab the cube, drop it into the object, press set. So then it creates this yellow line, so it's attaching it to this cube, and that's when you know it's successfully attached. And then we're going to find the other side. So you can see here, if you go down and then you click on it, it's this other side of the wire down here. We're going to click the second constraint, and then we're going to grab the cloud that we want to connect it to. So that's the top left, click, drop it, and then set. From here, we're going to go over to this and create a sweep. We're also going to come over to the spline again and create a circle. For the circle, we're going to change this to 0.1, and then we're going to drop the spline inside of the sweep and then the circle inside of the sweep afterwards. You can see it didn't really do anything, and if you actually scale this up, it makes it wider just because the plane is on the wrong kind of area. If we change it from Z to Y to X and Y, it'll be correct. And then we change it to 0.1 again. There's your wire. Then if you double click, go top left wire. You can drop down to the bottom. So yeah, and then you have to do that for the three other ones, or the three other clouds. You can connect it to the logo, which I did, but it's a bit of a hassle. So do it if you want. I'm just going to do the clouds, and I'll be back when I do that. Alright, and after you've created your 4 wires, or maybe 5, depending on if you're doing the logo, you can see that they're, if you move along the timeline, nothing's happening. So to change that, we're actually going to add, you go to your logo animation, right click Cinema 4D tags, and go to vibrate. And in here, we're going to enable position, enable rotation. And I'm going to change this to 2, 2, and 0.2. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So 2, 2, 1, and then 0.2. What this does is this adds like a little bit of movement to your logo. So it's not just perfectly still. Doesn't move it as much or kind of ruin the position of it, but does just kind of add a little bit movement to it. So then you want to grab the vibration, hold control, and then bring it down to the cloud. So this is the top bottom left cloud. And then you can see here is if the cloud now is moving and the wire is actually following with it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to click it, and you could change these numbers just a little bit, change the seed. What this is, it's like the X, Y, and the Z, so you want to change which one moves which position, I guess. I'm just going to do 5 and see what it looks like. A bit too much. I'm just gonna go 4 and then change this to 3. And then you want to copy it, change the seed so it's not moving exactly like the cloud beside it. We play. You see the clouds are moving, the wires are falling, this is kind of moving. And yeah, that's how you get the wires. It's kind of a cheap way to do it. You can also add physics to it, like a rigid body, but you don't need to, and this works just as fine. So I'm gonna go with this. And the last thing we need to do is we need to add the material. So I'm gonna show you the basics of how I created the material, and then I'm just gonna kind of copy them over and do that. So if you create a new material, this is going to be for the backdrop. So what I did was I turned off reflection for now. I go to texture, go to gradient, click on the gradient, and the background's a light blue. So I'm gonna bring it around there, and over here, and make this one a bit darker. Not a whole lot, but just a bit. You can change this from 2D to 3D linear, which kind of makes it a little bit better. Then we can go to reflectance, go to this one, default specular, and remove it. Actually want to turn it on. I guess you shouldn't have turned it off. But add, go to GGX, scroll down a little bit, go to layer differential, and then dielectric. And this will add the reflection in the specular highlight. The thing is here is the strength is how reflective or how chrome it is. So I like to keep it either at 100 or just a little bit below, not too much. The IOR is like how shiny it is as well, in short terms, I guess. So you can change it to PAT, which is kind of the sweet spot for plastic that I was going for. And by the way, I will be releasing a tutorial on how to render Legos as realistic as possible with like even the specular highlights and the thumbprints and all that stuff. It's just for the intro, it would take too long to render a full intro. So I'm just kind of doing a quick method that kind of looks like Lego and still pretty quick. The thing with roughness is it's how sharp your specular highlight is. So if you increase it, you can see it's kind of blurring it out. The Lego does have a kind of a sharp, but it's also not perfectly sharp. So around anywhere between 0 to 10. 0 is a little bit too low, but 10's not bad, or maybe 5 to 20 actually is kind of the sweet spot. Then I'm going to drop that, put it on the background. Whoops. You can see it's the only one tile. To do that, I'm going to delete these materials. I just had these materials so you can kind of see what's going on. Delete it, and then come up to the back wall and drop it down. And then I'm actually going to duplicate it. Change the reflection, go to color, and I'm going to click click clear, and then this is going to be for the cloud, so I'm going to make it pretty much white. And then I'm actually going to add a luminance so that it's a little bit more white and kind of glowing. And another thing you could do if you want to increase your render time but add a little bit more realism to it, do the drop down, go over to effects, subsurface scattering. What this does is shows how light shines through Lego, and it changes the color. It's kind of like skin when you put your finger, when you put a flashlight to your finger, it has like a different kind of color to it. If you click it, go to multiply, just enable fast, because it doesn't need to be 100% accurate. And then you just want to make this a little bit white as well. And then drop that on the clouds, click control, actually delete the things first, hold control, and then just drop it to each of one, and then your clouds have it. Alright, so that's pretty much the basics of it. So I'm gonna speed this up and just kind of add materials and get back to you when I'm done that. Alright, and we're going to do the first render here. And another thing I kind of skipped over is you can actually change the color, the difference between the highlights. So if you go to the reflection, go to layer color, and this, what it does is it changes the actual color of the highlights. So if you want to say like red, for example, it'll reflect red. You can kind of see it here. If we change it to a different color, it might be easier to see. You can see it's blue now. This just kind of adds a little bit more to it. Usually the reflection or the highlights are white, but I'm just adding yellow just to add a little bit more yellow to the photo here. Let's go to render. As you can see, this is the render. It didn't take too long. This took a little bit longer because it is the first time rendering. The more you render, your GP or your global illumination gets saved, so it will speed up kind of over time. But yeah, that's not looking too bad. The clouds are white. You can see I forgot to add a material to the wire there a bit. Just the default kind of gray. Change it to black, but yeah. And if you don't like the lighting, a thing you could do is if you exit out of this, click on this layer, go up to the interactive render region. And this will show you kind of where the shadows and the highlights are going. So this is lit by an HDR, so if you go to coordinates, you can rotate it. So if you go to this, if you go scene by camera, you can see where the light source is coming from. So this is where the light's coming from, like kind of on an angle this direction. But you can also, if you go to sky again, you can rotate it. So then more of the light's coming from this side now. Previews here. So, and you can change like it goes up or down, or you can actually add lights to fill in the thing, but I found in HDR it seems to work. It looks pretty good. It's just, it's the easiest way to do it without actually having lights. But yeah. So that's pretty much the tutorial. All you do have to do is play around with the materials. Obviously I didn't do the ones from behind, but for those you just kind of add, say, this material, drop it down, put it on. Oh, let me do this one actually. So find a material you want and then you just drop it down. If it's like a bitmap, what you have to do is you gotta double click, click color, go to texture, load image, go to the models, maps, decorate, and then so you want to find whatever it is. So say his face, click it, no, and then you want to add his face to it, so you just drop it. And with OBJ it saves the UV. So if we go to backside, you can see that there's the UV tag, so then it keeps the direction. See, if you delete it, his face will be the wrong place. So that's the good part about OBJ. But yeah, then you add materials to that, add a string to it if you like, but that's pretty much the animation. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be releasing another LEGO tutorial soon. Well, 2. I'll be making a LEGO explosion and fire pack, which was like the LEGO movie where the fire is coming out and the explosion is using blocks to build up. And then the other tutorial, or that's going to be a pack, the tutorial that I'll be making is how to do realistic renders of the LEGO guys and any LEGO things within Cinema 4D. Maybe with both redshift and physical render settings. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a comment and subscribe. And yeah, have a good one.